We're here in Saratoga Springs, New York, about 30 minutes from the brewery we're heading to in Queensbury. This road right here, this is Avenue of the Pines. It leads right to Saratoga Performing Arts Center, SPAC. I've been coming here for the last 10 years to go to concerts. What's cool about this road, though, is that like pine trees just line it all the way down and Avenue of the Pines.
Yep.
This beer is a tribute to that road, and it's the brewery we're heading to that brews this beer.
Yep, I'd never been here before. It's absolutely gorgeous. The smell is incredible, and I've tried this beer before. I know it's good, but I want to see what else they have to offer. It's time for us to find out what's on tap at Northway Brewing Company. Across the nation, people have turned the hobby of crafting beer into a lifestyle. Amazing breweries are only a few minutes away from your own home.
From nano to regional or micro to macro, the question you won't need to ask is what's on tap. Northway Brewing Company opened up back in spring of 2017, and ever since I got into craft beer, for some reason I kept going out and buying Northway beers. Their Perfect Day Pilsner, their Avenue of the Pines. I mean, I love what Northway's been doing, and I'm finally here to check it out. I haven't been here yet.
And you actually turned me on to them. You gave me a can of Avenue of the Pines. It was delicious, great in the can. Bet you it's even better on tap though. Let's go find out.
Let's go. Yeah, so Northway, yeah, how did you guys get started here? Like, when did this become a thing?
Officially launched 2017. It was a brewery before then. Cooperstown Brewing contracted here. They took over the facility from the previous owner, and they created Northway as a house brand while still making the Cooperstown beers. So Northway is just what we have for the local area, and the goal was to highlight the region and brew beers with.
Yeah, most people think that Northway is just because of what the interstate's called, but it's more about, you know, our whole area, how we do it in the north, and you know, we try to come up with beers that kind of represent what we do up here.
I see it right on the food truck, you know, beer, stuff it brewed in North Country.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so it's really a whole embrace. I mean, even with the beer I'm drinking, one of my favorite beers of all time, Avenue of the Pines. Yep. That's embracing the road that takes you to SPAC.
We have our core beers that kind of, you know, represent like that area, and then we, you know, that's the monocle of that is Adventurous Brewing, and then we have a lot of kind of one-off stuff that we'll get into tasting later that we do that's essentially not just in the tap room, but it's on a smaller batch, and that's kind of our thing, brewed in the North Country. So that it's not necessarily just here, but we're trying to diversify different styles and stuff like that.
And this is when you pull up, a very unique looking building for a brewery, especially. You come inside and what you've done in here is incredible, but what's the backstory with this place? How was this the spot that you got to?
Originally, this was built as a movie theater in the early 70s.
That was the last use before it was like a Yamaha dealership. It was a sporting goods store, a movie theater in the late 90s. I've actually had people come through into the tap room say, I used to work here selling popcorn when I was 16. You know,
that's cool.
Yeah, actually the original fire inspection on the wall over there from 1969 says Glens Falls Cinemas on it.
Wow.
So, okay, so movie theater before then.
Yeah. And it became a brewery in 2013, I think, and then we've been here for about 4 years.
Theoretically, you didn't have to make too many changes in getting ready for being a brewery, or were there still quite a lot of renovations that you had to make yourselves?
I'll let Joe take that one.
Yeah, there's has to do more of the brewing system. We changed that up a little bit. It used to be open top fermentation, very traditional, similar to what you saw at Cooperstown with the open top fermenters there. So we switched that to closed fermenters, conical tanks that are all enclosed. And
have you guys both been here from the start, or how'd you guys get involved with Northway?
I started when my last brewery shut down, and happened upon Northway, and right before the launch of the official brand, so it's good timing for that.
Yeah, and I was at a brewery prior to this, and then quarantine happened, and then I've been here since about June.
So new to the. What do you think? What do you think about then what they got going on here?
It's great. You know, it's you know, Joe is such a humble person to work with, and just is very open to, you know, creating new ideas. You know, like I said, this is like our core four up here, but those are the brands that kind of like we get those done with, and then we're open to doing anything else. So it's cool to be at a place where it isn't one person dictating it. It's everyone. It isn't just me. It's our GM. It's our salespeople. It's our bartenders that want to come up with new beers. You know, and you know, Joe's cool enough that like every time we hire a new person, they get their own brew day, so that we brew on the pilot system. Anything anyone wants. So. It's pretty
within
cool.
reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Nothing too extreme.
Yeah. We're throwing hot dogs.
That's
The one thing that I was hoping for, and I expected and glad to see it, that you guys have a distribution throughout all out of New York. I don't know if there's different states, but I know that you have, I mean, easily find you in Binghamton, easily find you in Oneonta. Walton, where my hometown is. Northway has been everywhere. For you guys coming here and having the exclusive beers on tap, is there a little bit more, you know, we got to make sure we're getting these ones distributed, but how often are you coming up with the new beers that you can get right here at the brewery?
a couple times a week. You know, I'll figure try to do a new release once a week, I think.
Yep. Yeah, we try to do a beer release every Friday. But that's the benefit. You know, when we bring you guys out back, we'll show you. You know, we have our big system, but then we have a smaller system as well. That, you know, if we're kind of experimenting with something new or something that we're not sure of, we can brew it in a smaller batch and not kind of worry about anything, and you know, put it in the tap room and see what, you know, the feedback is. You know, see kind of how quickly it moves, what guests think, what our staff thinks, and then if it's a hit, then we can scale it up, brew it on the bigger system, put it in a can, and then send it to the market.
You're seeing this all over the place, all across the state. But as far as your actual brew house location, you're kind of in a very unique spot where I'm sure you're getting your locals, but you're also probably almost year-round getting a bunch of tourists who are coming
right here by Lake George.
Yeah,
Sure.
What is?
I mean, right now I'm looking in the parking lot, Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
I saw Vermont earlier.
For sure,
yeah.
So it's, I mean, and especially, you know, this summer with everything that's been going on, you know, a lot of people that are coming up into the Lake George, Adirondack region, you know, they would usually come up here for a weekend, are now staying for a couple weeks, you know, especially people that have homes, because everyone's working from home. So that's been a huge benefit for us.
Are you looking to try and do something extra, try and take this place to another level? Are you thinking ahead of the future at this point?
Always.
Yeah, for sure. You know, our tap room has been, believe it or not, the busiest it's been since Northway's been a brewery this summer. It's awesome. Which is, there's a lot. I think our beers are getting better. There's a lot more, you know, variety here, but also there's, you know, people are coming to the area. We've kind of been took a stance this summer of having kind of a safe space for people. We have a lot of space. I mean, if you look around, we could probably fit another 10 tables in there, but you know, people have appreciated, you know, our outdoor space and how, you know, how clean it's been. So
now we know what your favorite Cooperstown beer was. When we were talking, how about Northway? Favorite Northway beer that you guys have? Personal favorite, if you can. I know a lot of times with a brewer, it's so hard.
That's tough.
Yeah.
How about currently?
Yeah, current favorite.
I'd probably say right now it'd be the beer we put on yesterday, Infinite and Wisdom. It's a New England IPA with Azaka and an experimental hop, HBC 472. It's just a super unique beer.
That's my year-round, probably Pilsner. Just
Perfect day.
the go-to for me.
Everybody loves a food truck.
Oh yeah.
That's the big thing right now. Everybody loves food trucks. I mean, and just to have the food in general, that's the big thing for a lot of breweries. It's like a lot of people are worried, oh, is it just beer? No, there's food here too. Something a little different here. I mean, poutine fries, can't go wrong with poutine fries. One of my favorite things. But just Phil, how did you get started here? How did this come about, and what we see in front of us? You know, what are we seeing? And you know, tell us a little bit about this.
Started cooking food up here at the food truck with the onset of COVID and the mandate that we need to serve you know, beer and food. So we've been rolling for a few months now. The food is nothing new. We're next to the Northway. If you take the Northway far enough, you're gonna end up in Canada and you're gonna find some poutine. Exactly. So that's probably one of our more popular dishes, definitely. The hot link plate is something that it's been a staple at the Barrel House in Saratoga for a while now. We use a local sausage producer, Perillo's. The bread comes from Rock Hill Bakehouse, which is another local business. I try to incorporate the beers here into whatever I can. So
Wanted to ask you.
Yeah, the beer mustard, Avenue of the Pines IPA in that. The beer cheese sauce has the Sunrise Session IPA. We have a special salad right now, our fall harvest salad, where a local farm, Featherbed Lane Farms, we use a lot of their produce, and we took the Pale Bearer, which is the Death Wish collaboration IPA, and we made a vinaigrette with that. So I try to incorporate whatever I can, whether it's using a beer batter or making a sauce, you know, tying it all together.
This is so good. I mean, that mustard, oh my God.
I'm usually not a huge mustard guy, but that is really good.
It's definitely, I feel like I'm getting that Avenue of the Pines, just like vibe from it, just the way that it finishes the mustard. And it's kind of cool when you incorporate beer with the food, and to be able to add that to it, it's just like, it creates such a good taste.
Yeah.
I mean,
this isn't the mustard you're getting at a store. Like,
and the sausage too. So the sausage is local sausage made?
Yeah, Perillo's. They're on Saratoga, right around the corner from the Barrel House.
So what are we getting in this salad here?
So we've got some heirloom carrots in there. You'll notice, you know, some of the yellow and orange. There's some radishes, some pickled turnips. That's all local produce from a local farm. There's some almonds and chicken on top of that, and that's kind of another local thing, maybe more in southern New York, Binghamton area where I grew up.
Where these guys are from.
Chicken Speedies. So that's the speedy marinade that I do on all my grilled chicken.
I'm just really glad that on camera I'm eating the salad. It just makes me feel a little bit better. Everything here feels like, it feels really good together. The way that it combines, and the vinaigrette itself, normally it's like a vinaigrette can be super strong, and it's not.
I really love this salad.
Yeah, this is a much different avenue here. So with this gravy, is this something you're incorporating beer into as well?
That is pretty basic. There is no beer incorporated in there. It's a turkey gravy and curds and French fries. Just pretty straightforward.
Sometimes you just gotta keep things simple. Exactly.
Routine is one of those things that you don't
mess with.
You don't want to touch with it. You know, just let it.
It's gold on its own. So you can tell the freshness in all of this. Really, it's delicious.
So the Brewhouse. So what kind of system you got going on here? Definitely, we haven't seen the brick except for actually at Cooperstown where they had a similar look, but it wasn't being used.
Yep. So it's an Alan Pugsley system. It's a very traditional, old school brewing system. You don't see too many this size, 50 barrels. It's
50?
Only one or two others that I've heard of. But I think they've been decommissioned since then, so it's
a white whale.
Yeah, definitely a unique size.
Yeah, this is huge. And I mean, looking at everything, we got the big tanks. I mean, you're brewing every day, I'm assuming?
Yeah, at least 4 days a week. We have our 100-barrel fermenters behind us, a couple 60s next to them, and then into the cellar we have some smaller, oddball sizes we do smaller batches into.
So we'll start over on the pilot system. So what's being brewed over here in the pilot system, and how often are you guys using this?
So 3.5 barrels, probably average maybe one brew a week, roughly. Just kind of random brews, pretty much. See whatever we feel like brewing. That's what I'll have the employees come in and brew on. Put a recipe. They'll have an idea for a beer, and I'll put a recipe together, kind of work on it together, and then brew it up.
What's currently in tanks?
So now we have the second runnings pale ale we did, and that's off a batch of the double sunrise we brew on the big system. Pulled the last runnings off of that, put it into the kettle, made a new beer out of it. That'll be out in a week or two. And we also have a cranberry goes for the holiday season.
That sounds good. And it won't have from 2 weeks from now. It's probably gonna be gone real quick, the small batch, but definitely you're constantly making things on the pilot system here, right?
Yep.
And when you're doing stuff on this, is this typically tap only in-house, or can you usually do cans out of these?
We can. We typically don't because it's more of a loss on the smaller system to can it, but.
So definitely gotta show up if you want to.
Gotta show up here.
Yep.
And then how about the big tanks?
We got a fresh batch of Burley beard going.
And that's the one that just came out. Or it didn't just come out. So has this been one that you guys have? Burley beard has been around for a couple years, right?
Yeah, it's more of a seasonal type brew, so we'll brew it, kind of let it run out throughout the summer, and then do the fresh stuff going in the fall.
It's a good one for this time of year, though.
Oh yeah.
I
love the nitros too.
Fresh batch of Sunrise Session, our flagship beer. It's cranking away right now. And we got another batch of Avenue, ready for canning next week.
Nothing in the last tank?
No. We'll get them filled up next week.
Oh, there you go.
And a black lager coming out.
Now, it's like the dark beers everyone's wanting. I mean, that's all I want right now is those dark beers. So the food here is awesome, and this place is just incredible. But we're here for the beer.
Yeah, and we're looking at our biggest challenge yet, the largest tasting we've ever done on the show, but you know, I'm not gonna complain.
Oh, no way.
It's time for us
To pour 4 times 2.5.
Yep.
First beer, what we got?
Perfect day Pilsner.
See, when you have a beer, I think it ends up being a perfect day. You know, your day could be horrible. If you end the day with a beer, you're gonna be good. And this is one of those beers that's just nice and easy drinking. Tell us a little bit about Perfect Day.
Traditional German Pilsner. That's about it. You know, it's Saz. It's actually grown in Cooperstown, Tettnang, and the main arena of Bavaria. It's a newer German hop. It's a classic German Pilsner.
Exactly it, yep. It's classic German Pilsner, simple yet delicious, refreshing, light. It's pretty much everything you're looking for in a Pilsner, but very flavorful as well.
That's the thing right there, flavorful. I mean, it's a Pilsner, and so it's one of those beers that you're not gonna be, anybody can come here and then not be worried about, like, oh, you know, craft beer. But also, you're getting a lot of that flavor too, of what craft beer is. And you're getting those different hops. You're getting that craft beer taste with this, and it's not just a Pilsner, and it ends up being a really easy drinking Pilsner. I love this.
It's got just enough of that hop bitterness at the end that you get something. It doesn't finish just like nothing. Yeah, so this is Sunrise Session. This Mosaic and Mandarina.
Yep, big dry hops of those.
And just this is our flagship beer for sure. We brew 100 barrels of this a week almost. It's become a popular beer, just, you know, it doesn't drink like your normal Session IPA. If it didn't say Session on it, you would just think it's a really, really good East Coast IPA. The hop bitterness is perfect, great balance.
What I like about it is that it has the little bit of bitterness at the end there. And it's because it's Session, it's not like that heavy, thicker IPA, but it still has that, again, the flavor that you're looking for in a traditional IPA. Fruity, floral.
Everything, yeah.
It's very well balanced.
And I feel like when you get your Sessions, you're not getting your super high ABV, and that's what makes this beer, and I can see that that's why this is a flagship, because a lot of people want that IPA taste, and they don't want that high ABV. But you still want it. You still want it there, and this sits right with, you know, any beer you can grab on the shelf that's a normal drinking beer, you're not gonna be, that ABV is gonna be real similar.
For sure, and that's the thing with IPA drinkers. They're not a 1 beer, 2 beer drinker.
No.
But that's where people get in trouble. Yeah. You know, like, you know, you have 4 or 5 Avenue of the Pines and
You're feeling it.
you're hurting. But Sessions, like, you can drink this all night.
My goal for this beer was to make it have body. A lot of Session IPAs are very thin. I kind of don't have any backbone to it to balance out the hops, but that was my goal for this, and I think I hit it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
You get it for sure.
That's why it's our most popular beer.
Yeah.
It's just
Sits on the tongue.
As a, you know, someone who does drink a lot of IPAs, I've never been someone that would be steered towards a Session, because, like, I get the ABV aspect, but I would just drink, you know, a lager or something, just because they fell so short on body, and there was always something missing. But I think this one is just, it's like perfectly well-rounded.
Should I introduce this one?
Yeah,
Because
why not?
this is the
Yeah,
one.
please
This
do.
is the one that
do.
is.
You take the lead on this one.
I'm not afraid. I will, like, you know, I always want, you know, every brewery that we go to, you know, that not to play like a favoritism or anything, you know, and be real honest. This is a top 5 beer on my list of beers that I've drank. And it hits that higher ABV that we were just talking about, that sometimes you don't want that with the last beer, but I'll have like 2 or 3 of these. My night's pretty good. I love Avenue of the Pines, and it also is it's a tribute, is that the word? It pays tribute to one of my favorite, like, places that I've been going to for the past 10 years. And it's that road that leads you to SPAC. So Avenue of the Pines, it's cool to finally talk to the guy who's making it. Tell us what is going into
Commercial,
this.
by the way.
Yeah, right?
There you go, yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, it's New England IPA. First one I ever made. You know, relatively new style, so it's a little bit of a struggle to work out the nuances of it in the beginning, but it finally got it down to a science for this beer, and it is what it is.
It really fits to the name too, because it has a pininess to it, and I feel like this was my introduction to a New England IPA that I really liked. And when I went to a place where I didn't go to a place. When I was first introduced to New England IPAs, I was like that was the first one I ever had. I was like, oh, it's super bitter. And then I remember I started to like them a little more, and I went to Brown's Brewing Company. They had a New England that I was like, this is pretty good. And then this is one I had where I was like, this is it. And the thing is with New England IPAs, because you get that hazy, that juicy, everything that makes a New England IPA, a lot of them tend to lose their IPA-ness.
That bitterness and that pininess.
Exactly, and that's what makes this one perfect to me, because it really is, you're getting that like a little sweetness, you're getting those flavors, but you're also getting what makes it an IPA when it finishes, that bitterness that you're getting, and that piney. I love that. I love this beer. I had to introduce it to you. What do you think about it? Yeah.
I think he said everything. But like, that's the thing. So this was the first beer from Northway that he introduced me to. Might even say the first New York craft beer that I had, because I'm not originally from the area. And I tried it, and very similar thoughts, like, wow, this is just a perfectly balanced, like, you're getting the sweetness that you get with a New England IPA, but it also has the bitterness that you're gonna get with a more traditional West Coast style.
Yeah, it's the perfect mix of an East Coast and a West Coast, for sure.
And Wegmans, they sell it there. I've grabbed it a few times, and it's one of those ones that now I'm starting to see in my beer fridge almost constantly. It's just a great go-to.
Pretty unfair that you guys have Wegmans and we don't.
It's the best. I can never move away. I can never leave Wegmans now.
That's my biggest fear. If I ever want to move, like I gotta all right. That's the town of a Wegmans.
I think there's too much beer at Wegmans, personally.
Man, it's overwhelming, but it's nice to know that it's there.
Go on to the next one here.
This is Burley beer. This is one of our, I guess we would say our core four after Avenue, Session, and Pils, which we just tried. So this is an oatmeal stout. Pretty straightforward. You're gonna get a lot of chocolate and coffee flavors, yet there is no chocolate or coffee in it. That's just from the malt, the grain bill. And then it's nitro dosed.
Incredibly silky.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the nitro.
Yeah, it's velvety almost.
Exactly.
It is the smoothest beer you can drink is a nitro.
Something that I never really saw outside of, like you said, Guinness. Yeah. And now it feels like they're really starting to pop up. A lot of places are starting to figure out how to do them, but how to do them right. Like, this is done right.
I'm getting the chocolate and coffee to it, and you're just saying it's just the
nothing.
malt.
That's just
it's crazy.
It is impressive how you're able to get that flavor from just the malt alone.
This is a cool beer. We have a special kind of connection with a Death Wish Coffee Company. So our general manager Max, who wish could be here today, and Joe, they both were. Before they came here, were at Saratoga Brewing Company. Before Max and Joe started this relationship with Death Wish Coffee Company, started doing stuff with beer, and this is kind of one of our latest Death Wish collabs. So this is called Cascara Key. Cascara is essentially in Spanish it means husk. So when a coffee is grown, it's there's a cherry around it, and then they take the bean out, and then typically. Mostly they would throw the cherry away. In South America, they make a tea out of it. So we make a tea out of it, and then we add it to a base goza, and there's a key lime in it, coriander, sea salt. So that's why Cascara Key. When we throw a Death Wish logo on this beer, people are going to obviously expect coffee. But that's what's so cool about working with a company like that. There's so much beyond that. And this is a cool opportunity to do something completely different in the world of coffee and the relationship that Joe and Max have built with Death Wish. So,
key lime goes as the base beer for this. I get a lot of like graham cracker that this adds to it somehow. It doesn't smell like that at all, but that's what contributes.
It's like it starts out a little tart with the lime. You get that key lime, and then, like you said, it almost finishes with the graham cracker, much more subtle. Smooth. I would almost say, like, once you start drinking, then kind of drop in, oh yeah, Death Wish, yeah. Kind of, I feel like it warps your thought process going in about what it's going to taste like, and
I feel like the tart that it starts off with drops immediately after you take a sip. Like you get it right at the beginning and then boom.
Tart lime cranberry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a layer in your mouth, yeah. It ends up being a really good beer.
Yeah, super unique.
Pale Bearer, I've been wanting to try this one. I've been seeing it in the stores, I've been seeing you guys promote it, and not what I expected from a Death Wish coffee beer.
Again.
That's the goal for these beers, you know, gotta do something different. It's probably the most unique beer that I've ever made. It's a coffee beer, but not really. It's more subtle. Coffee is very overpowering, so it's a fine balance to, you have to walk that line of hops and coffee and malt and everything else. And to me, it does it.
Totally, that's not what I expected to taste when you see a beer like this. Because it is there, but it's definitely like...
But you'll get that aroma and you'll get that flavor, but it's super on the back end.
Wow, that's so weird. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call beer weird, man. That is something...
That's freaky.
You don't expect that at all. And you don't expect the beer to look like this and say, hey, expect that little bit of coffee taste that you're gonna get with that. And it's... How did you do that? how do you make a coffee, or a beer that's brewed with coffee, and then it comes out looking like this?
And tasting like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's trade secrets involved, I think. But,
we don't. Yeah. What can you tell us?
Legally, yeah.
There's coffee in there.
That's all right.
But one of the big things is there's a new hop in here too. It's HBC 472. Don't name yet. Unique hop. There's a bourbon, oak, vanilla characteristics to this one, as well as tropical stuff that comes through in the back.
Stuff you would never think that you would
get.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, everything you just said. I was trying to paint. I thought I tasted a little vanilla, and definitely some tropical.
Yeah. And that's
some
from
funkiness.
The hops.
Yeah,
from the hops.
And you would never know that there's any bit of coffee in this. Usually, when you're thinking coffee, you're thinking darker, very, very bitter, and you know it. This you would, again, I think back-to-back beers now, if you don't say to somebody this is made with Death Wish, you don't know.
Going to a nice dark beer here. Now, Obituary, another Death Wish.
Yep.
Is this the first one that collaboration with Death Wish?
First with Northway,
the
right?
first release from,
This is one that when you hear with Death Wish, this is what I feel like you would think of. You smell it,
this is coffee,
you
this
look
is
at
stout,
it, this is it. This is what you're anticipating.
Made with Death Wish coffee.
It's what you expect.
Yes.
There's also cacao nibs that are added, and vanilla. As it warms up too, more flavors come out of it.
It's straight up coffee. Straight up. And that's kind of like, it's super interesting with beer, being able to make something with coffee and it not be coffee. I had a cup of Death Wish coffee this morning before we made this episode. This is a very familiar taste, but there's more in it. Same with the vanilla.
Yeah, it's still a balance thing, I want to be able to taste beer too. It's not 100% coffee, but it's definitely there and prominent.
It's actually, I love that, it's one you can drink a couple of too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't see a lot of, you taste this, you see this, and you'd think, boom, this has got to be an 8%er. But no, I think that's the point, is that you can still get this full flavor from a beer that's pretty approachable.
I think there's something to be said about being able to make a beer like this and still hit only 5% with this much flavor, and
that's him.
It's impressive. It is impressive to be able to pull something off like this, and it does remind me of drinking just a cup of like cold brew black coffee, but it's almost like you just dumped in a little bit of, instead of Bailey's, something like that, you did a little beer, something like that, and it's very well balanced.
Next, we got Cadillac Dreams, yogurt sour.
So I don't think we've covered it before, but we like to do collaborations with other companies. So Death Wish is one. So this one is with Argyle Cheese Farmer. It's a local dairy manufacturer. They do cheese, yogurts, and they're based out of Argyle. We have a shop in Hudson Falls. So this one we take yogurt and sour the wort with it. So yogurt sits in the kettle with the beer for about 24 hours or so, and then we boil it.
So you don't even touch it. You just put it all in there and then let it go for 24 hours and then...
Then boil, add hops, and...
It smells like strawberry yogurt.
When you hear somebody describe the process of something like this, it sounds so disgusting when you think about just putting yogurt in, letting it sit, and then boiling it. But I feel like the product that you get out of it is delicious somehow.
Wow. It has like a perfect sourness, nothing too crazy, nothing too strong, but it is sour. And really smooths out to like a creamy finish. This is the baby. This is only a small batch from this one made from the original. And it's got chocolate raspberries, is what you guys said?
Yep.
Now, what's this one's name?
Same thing, just
No name
chocolate
yet.
raspberry version.
No official name.
currently.
Oh, wow. This is a real special here.
Nobody's had this yet. You're the first.
Yeah, you're the first outsider to have it.
Yeah.
That smell is incredible.
It tastes like a candy.
It tastes like, do you know,
It's got me. It's
Just like a candy.
It's got it.
I don't know if this is the one you're going
I like
for.
it. I like
but
this.
every year for Christmas, I get a chocolate orange. There's
Close.
a raspberry version of
Okay.
it. It's the same thing. It's like you smash it on your counter
Yeah, I
and you
know.
get
Yeah,
slices.
yeah.
It tastes like what it says, like the chocolate raspberry. I'm getting both that come through. A lot of raspberry when you smell it, the initial taste, and not very sweet, but a little bit of sweetness at the end. It kind of mellows things out.
Yeah, you're gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like,
You can say it now.
Like the dark red Tootsie Pop.
yep. Wow.
Shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah,
Over the
it's like-
fruit, you
it's
have
like-
the fruit on the outside of the chocolate. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yep. That is literally it. That is literally. It's encased because at the end you get in that is a chocolate.
It almost smells more like it than even, it tastes like it, but it smells like exactly like it.
Yeah, that is crazy. Now, I haven't seen a lot of milkshake beers from you guys. Is this a first, or is this something that
This is the first one we've done and labeled and canned. It's not super, this one tends to settle out very.
It's not your typical milkshake, which makes it more approachable for the IPA drinker. That's like that kind of gets weirded out by the fact that there's a such thing called a milkshake IPA. I think just because Joe doesn't put vanilla in it, so it's not like super sweet. It's not super cloudy. The lactose I think just helps with keeping that ABV up without killing the malt.
It kind of attacks your tongue.
But the mango is just enough.
Like you said, without the vanilla, the mango is a nice filler for that. You still get that little bit of deeper sweetness that you get with your milkshakes, but it's also not that thick.
No.
Like a lot of milkshakes you get, it's a little bit thicker. Yeah, I like this. It goes down real
You don't want
smooth.
more than one of them. You
Yeah.
can have-
I'm feeling though that milkshake, like, I don't know if it's the creaminess, but I mean also you're getting a lot of creamy with
I think it's the mouthfeel.
different
like
kinds of
you were
things. The
talking about,
mouthfeel, yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's just in my head of just tasting vanilla, like it's just something you expect. And it's that mango. It's that mango straight up, like, and it really ends up being like just a solid, like, it really could be. It really could just be like a mango IPA. And it ends up being really nicely smooth. That's where your milkshake comes in. So all right, what do we got next?
So this is a kind of a special beer for us here. This beer is called Same Dawn, New Day. This is a collaboration with Unified Beer Works out of Malta, New York. Husband and wife, Jeff and Erica. This is a sour IPA that we did with vanilla, mango and tangerine, and a wild yeast. Dry hop the shit out of it with some cool New Zealand hops.
You
And
can say that.
Oh, you could say that.
Oh yeah,
We're on YouTube. We
We're
can
on
do
YouTube,
whatever we want.
Facebook.
Okay, all right.
Anything.
oh, the shit.
Yeah.
All the shit.
I don't know.
I've been saying fuck, but I wasn't going in yet. But I mean, I could.
Every now and then it comes out. It's all good.
Shit. The inspiration behind this beer was a friend of mine. His mom came down with a rare lung condition. Turns out she needed to get a transplant. Long story short, she had to move to Cleveland to be close to the hospital. And my friend actually ended up getting a job at Unified. I brought up the idea of doing a beer for her to max our GM. He said, well, doesn't Josh work at Unified? I said, yeah. He says, well, why don't you see if they want to do a collab with us? So we came up with this beer idea. Two of his favorite styles. He's a big IPA guy, big sour guy. Joe can brew anything. Jeff and Erica can as well. They're two styles I think that they like to brew the most are IPAs and sours. So we kind of merged those two. So this beer was born kind of on that, and we released this about 3 weeks ago. And then all the proceeds from this beer here and Unified are going to his mom for her recovery. Turns out she got her lung transplant about 3 weeks ago. doing good back home, and so this is a happy beer.
That's fucking incredible.
It's a killer beer too. Not to mention what
the thing.
You know what it represents. But the beer came out great, and
this is really this is a perfect sour IPA. I mean, you're getting that perfect tartness with it, and it really just another one that just finishes nice, well-rounded at the end. And I like how there's a bunch of different flavors that went into this, and it just comes out being like this really like. It's perfect tasting beer.
I feel in this case the funds were the number one thing.
For sure.
And you just happened to make an incredible beer at the same time. Right. It made me pucker up at the first time though, like the sourness, because we had a sour earlier, and this one I feel like was
this might take the top
double, triple times the tartness, but it was still really like if you're looking for a sour, this is a sour.
I'm feeling good. We're on the I don't know, is this 12? This might be more than 12.
We're in double digits.
We stopped counting.
Yeah, we've hit that number. That there is no number.
That is the percentage of this beer, I believe.
Oh, it's a Nitro.
Yeah.
So what is this beer?
Imperial Stout. So my pilot batch, I had a bunch of leftover grains from other brews I want to get rid of, so I made a beer out of them, and this is what it is.
And it was like pretty much spot on.
That's what you call it, just Imperial Stout?
Nothing to Fear is the name.
Is that your name? You came up with?
No, that was Max.
Max? All right.
That does not feel like 12% at all. At all.
You
That is
expect
not
a
even
super
close.
boozy beer when you hear 12%. That
That's
doesn't.
12% scary.
That's Nitro right there.
Yeah, this is dangerous.
Mouthfeel will
you
just
should
get you.
fear this
Yeah.
beer when it comes to trying to do a couple of these here. Oh my god.
So every time I have a Nitro, I'll say it. It goes down smooth. It feels it. It's a mouthfeel that you're getting with that. It doesn't like touch the top layer of your mouth, the roof. And I feel like that's sometimes, I don't know. I can explain things so weird. That's what I'm getting with that. It doesn't. That's what gets. That's what's Nitro.
Sits on a cloud on your tongue. This is a great one for if you get cans. You're at home.
Oh yeah,
just hanging out.
Yeah.
This is an amazing beer at night.
You can even let
especially
this beer warm up a little bit.
I want this.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
This video is coming out in December. I want this throughout the month of December. Thank you guys.
Yeah, really.
This is incredible. I mean, wow, unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool atmosphere. I can imagine it being a really, really cool place. It's nice so far.
Yeah,
I like it.
love the atmosphere.
The vibe of this place is really cool. The indoor, there's like a huge wall of art that's awesome.
There's a bunch of different like little spaces. Like there's almost like a beer conference room in there. It looks
Yeah.
like, it's one of my favorite breweries in the capital region. So.
What an awesome day. I finally understand why you were so hyped to come up here to Northway. This has been so cool. Thank you so much to Phil for the delicious food we got to try, and to Joe and Brian for having us and for letting us taste damn near every single beer that they have on tap. All of them were incredible.
It's unbelievable. I've been wanting to come here for a long time, and I'm making sure that that long time is much shorter for the next time I come here. If you guys love what you're seeing, you gotta make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page. You like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook as well. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, so you can see where our journey takes us next on What's on Tap. Cheers. Hey, Dad. Let's go join my dad.
Go sit with him.
He's just sitting over there.